Hello, everyone, and a very warm evening to today's Immortal India's webinar series. We are today having a webinar, episode 5, on a very interesting topic on right to free legal aid. So, friends, so today we have with us a really eminent personality. We see him commenting daily on various social issues and a really good writer with immense likes, and he's a very popular personality. So, friends, let's welcome Mr. Jayant Bhatt. Talking about Sir, Sir is an independent lawyer based out of New Delhi. Sir holds a dual master degree from National New York University and National University of Singapore and is a member of prestigious Supreme Court and Delhi High Court Bar Association. Sir office caters to clients like government, non-government and various multinational corporations. Besides being an advocate, Sir is also a great speaker at various events and platforms. Besides being a lawyer, Sir also has an interest in teaching and mentoring young minds. And also, last but not the least, Sir is also an advisory board member in various organizations. So, Sir, a very warm welcome on behalf of Immortal India. Over to you, Sir.
Thank you so much, Manav and Team Immortal India for having me. We are starting today's topic. It's a very relevant topic, legal aid, and why do we need this in our country? In India, we are a developing nation. We are also a country which has a lot many number of people who are not either educated or literate, and that begs the question as to do we have enough legal provision in the country by which we can help our own citizens or our own nationals, and even sometimes foreign nationals who may be economically not very sound or very powerful. Having said that, we must think as to why. What the first thing which comes to our mind when we think of legal aid. When I say legal aid, I broadly mean legal representation in the court, which should be costly and which normally is out of reach for a lot of people who are economically disadvantaged, or who cannot afford a lawyer or a lawyer's fees. Because in our country, we do not have a systematized fee structure for lawyers or law firms or law organizations who are practicing in the courts. And you can charge any fees that you may desire or require, and people normally pay that. So there is no as such legal financial legal structure for quoting a fees. But however, having said that, there is a general market tendency as to how much fee should be a reasonable fees for a person. But at the same time, a reasonable fee for one person may be completely unreasonable for the other. Now, the recipients of legal aid are basically marginalized communities, senior citizens, person with low income, prison inmates, etc. And the first, I think, move which was initiated in our country was through Justice Bhagwati, late Justice Bhagwati. He was speaking through this legal aid committee, which was formulated in 1971, and he famously, observed while he was working on this committee, is that legal aid means providing an arrangement in the society so that the mission of the administration of justice becomes easily accessible and not out of the reach of those who have to resort it for enforcement and ignorance. And poverty should not be an impediment in access to courts. So it's a social statute which now governs the country. The legal provision are backed by Article 21 of the Constitution of India and Article 39A of the Constitution of India, which says that the state has a bounden duty to secure the operation of legal systems that promote justice on the basis of equal opportunity, and shall in particular provide free legal aid by suitable legislation or schemes or in any other way to ensure that the opportunities for securing justice are not denied to any citizen by reasons of economic or any other disability, by and large financial, or it may also be physical. Now, there is an act which governs this free legal service in India. We all know this act is called the Legal Services Authorities Act, and it was enacted in the year 1987. Now, this act, what does it do? It aims at streamlining the mechanisms where eligible categories of persons can access free legal aid service in the country. When applications for legal representations are made under the Act, a lawyer is assigned to each applicant who then fulfills the given criteria. Furthermore, publicly funded legal aid services are organized under the said Act, which are accessible to people. The important section which the audience must note down under this Act is Section 12, which prescribes the criteria for persons who are eligible for obtaining legal aid. And there are lot many people. Let me tell you one by one who these people are. They are a member of scheduled caste or scheduled tribe. They are a victim of human trafficking or beggars, as referred to in Article 23 of the Constitution. It can be any woman or child in the country, a mentally ill or otherwise disabled person, a person under the circumstances of undeserved want, such as a victim of a mass disaster, ethnic violence, caste atrocity, flood, drought, earthquake, or industrial disaster. Or an industrial workman can also avail legal aid facility under the Act. Anyone who is in custody, including custody of a protective home or a juvenile home or a prison custody, can also avail this. Then you have psychiatric hospital or psychiatric nursing homes, which fall under the Clause G of Section 2 of the Mental Health Act of 1987. They can also avail this facility of legal aid. And then a person whose annual income is less than rupees 9,000 or any such higher amount can also be prescribed by the state government and avail these services. Now, under the Act, there are three to four general categories which are now made in the country, which now run very successfully. And they're a legal aid program and also a program which you all would have heard of called Lok Adalats. And Lok Adalats are, defined under, I'll just read Chapter 6 of this Act. So let me first tell you the structure of the organizations which are enunciated in this Act. It's called NALSA, SALSA, and DALSA. So N is for the national. National Legal Aid Service Authority is called NALSA. Similarly, a state is called SALSA, and district is called DALSA in short form. And NALSA is defined under Section 3 and Section 6 of the Act. The High Court also and Supreme Court of our country also provide legal services under different committee heads under Section 3A, which is constituted by NALSA, and in various high courts of the country, which is constituted under Section 8A by different high courts under the Act, and then the District Service Authority under Section 9 of this Act. You must also note down that under Section 11A, we also have taluka, like different talukas in the country, we also have talukas, legal service committees. Now, these free legal aids are provided, and the selection of the legal practitioner as panel lawyers under this is also formalized under the Competent Legal Service Regulations of 2010, by which most of these courts, either Supreme Court or High Court or District Court, they float the tender for legal aid lawyers and different panel lawyers to provide legal aid under either in different categories. For example, you have legal aid lawyers for criminal cases, then you have legal aid lawyers for civil matters, prison visits, going to jails like Tihar jail in Delhi or any other state jail or central jail, and then also to represent people without cause, because then their fee schedule is prescribed by different court authorities under this particular act, and there's a fee schedule given to these lawyers, so they cannot charge anything extra or anything privately from a client who is availing legal aid. And who can avail legal aid? We have just discussed under Section 12 of this act. There's a huge category of people who can avail legal aid in the country. Now, there are few judgments that I must discuss for the benefit of the audience. The landmark judgment, which you all must note, is Sunil Batra versus Delhi Administration. This is AIR 1978, Supreme Court, page 1675. In this case, it was held that legal aid is a fundamental right under the right to a fair trial under Article 21 of the Constitution of the country. And it is available not only in the judicial proceedings, but also in the proceedings before the prison authorities. The case mainly dealt with two situations where a prisoner would be entitled to legal aid. Number one was to seek justice from prison authorities, and number two, to challenge the decision of such authorities before any particular court. The other judgment that you must note down is M.H. Hoscott versus State of Maharashtra. Citation is AIR 1978, Supreme Court, page number 1548. This particular judgment said that a free legal aid vis-a-vis for the indigent and poor accused was considered for the first time, and furnishing of a free transcript of a judgment, with respect to sentences where the prisoner seeks to file any appeal or revision or any other facility, that shall be made absolutely free by the jail administration under the legal aid provision. The other thing that I think this case highlighted was that the power to assign counsels include the fact that the prisoner does not object to the lawyer named by the court, and the right to a legal aid was considered an inalienable element of fair procedure. It is also the duty of the government and is an implicit aspect of Article 21 of the Constitution in ensuring fairness and reasonableness and cannot be termed as government charity. The third case that I'm sure you must have all heard and read about in your law school is Hosana Khatun versus Home Secretary State of Bihar. Citation is AIR 1979, Supreme Court 1377. In this case, it was held that legal aid is part of right to life under Article 21 of the Constitution. And also, in this case, the petitioner has brought to the notice of the apex court, that is the Supreme Court of the country, that the most of the under trial accused have already served more imprisonment than what they would have been if they were convicted without any delay. The delay was caused due to inability of the accused to engage a proper legal counsel for their defenses, mainly because of economic constraints. As an under trial prisoner, one is entitled to be released on bail, and the state government must provide legal assistance as its own to an under trial prisoner with a view to enable him to apply for bail. The next case I'll just summarily touch is State of Maharashtra versus Manubhai Vashi. The citation is 1995, 5 SCC, page 730. This case highlighted the necessity for capacity building while providing legal aid. One of the recent judicial pronouncements, which I think the audience must also note down, is Sarthak Magon versus Union of India. It's writ petition civil 3778 of 2020, which is this year. And the fact briefly of the case were that a public interest litigation was filed before the Delhi High Court seeking directions to the Tihar Jail authorities to set up a web link for legal mulaqat or telephonically through virtual conference. In this judgment, the court not only issued the direction to the respondent, but also said that the video conferencing should be made mandatory for inmates in Tihar jail so that they can meet or greet their family members, they can be presented before the virtual courts. And the timing of this conference was fixed for 30 minutes. And then the application which is received through private counsels was also to be considered by the jail superintendent. The case also said that legal interviews can be held in the presence of jail superintendents. However, the jail superintendent will be hearing the matter and will be in the hearing range so that nothing illegal or untoward happens. Also, the privileged conversation between the counsel and the advocate and the jail inmates will be maintained as a sanctity of the client attorney privilege. And the link for the video conferences will be sent to the particular advocates. So I think so far as our country is concerned, we have made a lot of success in terms of legal aid under the Act, and how different institutions and organizations have been set up, how daily they are taking small steps in giving justice to people who cannot defend themselves, who do not have the right to counsel. And then the other aspect, which I said is covered under the Act, is Chapter 6 of the Lok Adalat. If you are a practicing lawyer, if you're a law student, you must have realized whenever you go to Lok Adalat, these Lok Adalats are now held at a national level, normally on a second Saturday, where a lot of petty matters are covered, which are not very high stake. For example, electricity theft, check bounces matter, small petty crimes, where settlement between the parties have taken place, even matrimonial matters for that matter, are covered by and large under the Lok Adalats. And Lok Adalats is a very novel concept within our country. It has achieved tremendous success under the guidance of various high courts and Supreme Court and district courts, across the nation. And a lot of cases, if you see a newspaper right after Lok Adalat has been, concluded, even the websites of the court will tell you that how successfully so many cases which were pending adjudication have been, adjudged, adjudicated, and it's a really informal way where you can come with your counsel. A date already, second Saturday prescribed date is already given. You can put your claim. You can also ask for pardon from a particular court if there is a traffic challan case. You can let go for a minimal challan rather than paying full fine. So all these cases, are dealt very considerably, I must say, by the courts of our country, where they take and where they ensure and take care that any person who is, financially not very strong must be taken care of and must also be provided the right judicial guidance, not just by the lawyers, but also by the courts of the country. So, having said that, I think I have given enough to discourse as a short module and covering the act briefly. I will now ask the Immortal India to please put any question to me from your audience, any questions that you may have, or any experience that you would like to share where you may have been involved in your legal aid, uh, uh, by helping somebody who wanted a legal aid or by taking a pro bono case. So I'll be happy to have those questions.
So there are like two, three questions. Like first question is from Chandrahasa Parmude. He asked that whether free legal consultation is available even if someone who does not want to pursue any case in the courts.
So as I said, you please see Section 12 of the Act. That Section 12 has the criteria of who can avail legal aid services. So legal aid services does not mean that you have to fight a case. It can also mean that you can be given free services. There are a lot of free legal aid advice. As I said, every court has a list of empaneled lawyers, legal aid lawyers. If you have a case of civil nature, you can go to a civil case legal aid lawyer. If you have a criminal matter, you can go to a criminal aid legal lawyer. If you are somebody who has been taken into custody by the police and sent to jail, within the jail premises, there are legal aid lawyers who visit the jail and who advise the inmates and under trials. So even for advice, you can go, but you will have to show that you deserve that legal aid. If you are somebody who belongs to money, if you do not have financial constraints, then I'm sorry, you will have to pay the lawyer, not the legal aid lawyer, but any other lawyer that you go to. A legal aid lawyer will have to see your documents. There is a proper procedure. You have to give proof in the court that you are an indigent person, you are in requirement of a financial assistance from the court, and only then can you be given free legal aid, not otherwise.
Sir, the next question is from Jayashree Roy. She says that, sir, please give me some procedure for internship in NALSA during COVID situation.
Madam, the only thing I can tell you is please go to their website, of NALSA's website, and see who the current chairperson is or any other staff member. Please try to reach out to them through telephone, mobile, and I'm sure they will be the right people to then guide you how to, avail any internship opportunity which may be there.
Sir, Priyanka asked that can oneself choose a lawyer of his or her choice under the legal aid service?
I'm not very sure. Look, how do you decide which lawyer to choose? If you are cherry picking and nitpicking, which means you came to legal aid thinking that you wanted to go to a lawyer, and that lawyer may also be in trouble because then the legal aid cell may think that that lawyer was soliciting himself or herself. So I don't think that would be the right approach. That look, every time an empanelment which takes place in the country, before you are empaneled as a legal aid lawyer, there is an interview which happens. Your documents are sent, your resume, your CV is sent to the legal aid cell. There is an interview panel of eminent judges, lawyers who interview you, who see whether you are up to the mark, to even be given this panel. It's one of the prestigious panels and sought after panels in most of the courts, especially High Court and Supreme Court. If you're a legal aid panel lawyer, there are limited seats. For example, in Delhi, I think in Delhi High Court there are about 30 to 50 seats for civil and criminal legal aid roster together. So they're very limited seats, and once you say that you're doing a case for legal aid, judges also take you seriously. They give you 5-10 minutes extra because they know that you're doing something pro bono, you're doing something to help people. But I don't think that's the right thing to say. I only want this lawyer, unless of course the lawyer from legal aid cell who was doing your case was not performing their duty properly, you're not happy with them, then you can put a request to the legal aid committee that I want to change my legal aid lawyer. That you can do.
Sir, Kushagra Kanodia asked that how can someone avail free legal aid service from the state? What is the entire process?
So please go to court. If you go to court, any court that you go to, wherever your case is pending, if you speak to the court staff and say, look, I want to avail legal aid, or even you can speak to the judge directly, they will sometimes directly assign a legal aid lawyer to you. And then the court staff will give you the number. And within the court premises, you have legal aid cells where you can go and they will help you coordinate with which lawyer is assigned to your matter. So there are dedicated legal aid cells where sitting judges are sitting as chairperson. There are court staff dedicated for this purpose, so you don't have to worry. It's a robust system, acting system, and people are availing this day in and day out.
Hilal asked that is free legal aid is available at the appellate stage, and who have his personal lawyer before the appellate stage?
Sorry, I didn't get the question. What?
Hilal is asking that whether is free legal aid is available at the appellate stage, and who have his personal lawyer before the appellate stage.
Look, what I'm gathering from the question is legal stage in India is available across all the platforms. As I said, our Legal Aid Act of 87 has now ensured that whatever step, whether it be a trial court matter, a high court matter, or Supreme Court matter, every court has a legal aid committee. So let's say if you engage a legal aid lawyer in trial court, that legal aid lawyer will only represent your case in trial court. If you put an appeal and if you still want a legal aid, then you will have to go to the legal aid committee of the High Court cell. And then the High Court will then mark you a legal aid lawyer. Because every court has their own panel of legal aid lawyers. So yes, to answer your question succinctly, every court in India today has a legal aid cell, legal aid panel of lawyers. You can avail that free of charge, free of cost. But for that, you will have to, one, give a proof that you are financially, not independent. And as I said, please, you can, Google the Legal Services Authorities Act and read Section 12. Again, as I said, which has the number of categories of people. You can also help your neighbors and friends if they are in help of legal aid. To go to a particular legal aid cell in any part of the country, and you will definitely be given help.
So the next question is, should soldiers be protected from human rights litigation?
So it's a vague question. When you say human right litigation, if you are a soldier serving, nobody can randomly put a case against you. That is number one. And this question does not fall within the ambit of legal aid. So I don't think this is a relevant question, to be answered.
Next is, does legal aid actually promote the national development?
Yes, absolutely. Look, people need to believe in the justice system and judiciary, and people come to court day in and day out because that's the last resort, for their hope. If let's say somebody is poor and their slums are going to get demolished, or somebody is poor and their landlord is going to evict them, or somebody is financially weaker, or let's say there is a housewife who does not earn and the husband is creating domestic violence. All these people can avail domestic. I'm saying sorry, domestic. All these people can avail legal aid. So when I say there are so many categories of legal aid which covers women, children, financially weaker citizens, mental health people, anybody, if you're fall under that category, you can go and avail legal aid. And even human trafficking people. I'll give you an example. So I had gone to Calcutta on this seminar for human trafficking. There are a lot of women who were, saved from trafficking, were there from different parts of the country, and they were given legal aid, in their respective states, either from the district state service authority or from the state legal service. As I said, DALSA, SALSA, and NALSA. These are the three bodies. NALSA is the apex body, then you have the state, which is SALSA, and then you have the DALSA, and then you have talukas also. So once a person is, escaped, or person is protected from a trafficking violation, then they're also given legal authorities to either get a FIR lodged, to pursue that FIR properly, to defend the case. And even let's say if a person is wrongly accused of human trafficking, and they're a poor person who has been wrongly framed in a FIR, that person can go and also avail legal aid.
So one last question. If suppose in the during the legal aid, the advocate, like the advocate of the client, does not behave properly, whom should I approach if I want to file a complaint against the conduct?
Madam, or sir, I don't know who's asking this question, but when you say conduct, what type of conduct are you talking about? Are you saying that the person was corrupt or was accepting a bribe from the other party? Do you want to say that he was not discharging the role properly? Were you not happy with the way that he was addressing you or talking with you? So there are lot many things, and many a times when you lodge a complaint, it's not that you can unilaterally adjust the matter. Both the sides will be then heard. The lawyer will also be heard, and the committee who is going to decide this will eventually decide who was right and who was wrong. So if you are actually aggrieved, I would say please request the committee, the legal aid committee, to change the lawyer.
Sir, someone is asking about the organization named NALSA, like how does it functions and all the paralegal volunteers.
So look, they are all covered under the your the Legal Act of 1987. And if you see, you have all the categories. NALSA is defined, SALSA is defined, their composition is defined. So you can, open the act, read this. The National Legal Service Authority is defined under Chapter 2, Section 3. So you will say how a central government constitutes it, who are going to be the patron in chief. The Chief Justice of India is normally the patron in chief of NALSA. Then you have a serving judge or a retired judge from Supreme Court to be nominated by the president. Then you have other members, who are possessing good enough experience and qualification as may be prescribed by the, central government or nominated by the government in consultation with the Chief Justice of India. So there's a huge, huge list. You can read it under Section 3A of this particular act, and it is right there in the act when you can avail how it functions, how it's constituted.
So there's one question over here by Varsha Kumare. She asked that if farmers are to be helped legally in interior of India, how can we help them if courts are there in the periphery in their area?
So again, there are taluka service also. So whatever taluka they are in or whatever district court they are in, that district court will also be having a legal aid committee. You can approach that legal aid committee of your area, and if you know a farmer, who needs legal services or legal aid, please contact those district services legal aid service cell, and I'm sure they will, connect you with the right lawyer to help a particular litigant.
These are the only questions over here.
All right.
Sir, would you continue or like we?
I think we can conclude because I think I've covered the act and given the judgments, and it was a good
Okay,
Q&A session. So I'm,
okay.
good to conclude.
So these are only sir 8 to 10 questions were there over here. So we come basically like sir in Immortal India, like we are an organization. So what happens like we host interviews like we had interviews with some doctors like in the past, and also with the radio jockeys, like they used to give their talk on how to like keep our mental health in a proper condition. And also we have a team of around like we have a students not only based on law, like we also have some people from NALSA at a team. So they basically what they do like during the this time also this NALSA team was there, and what we did that during this situation like the migrant laborers thing, what they did, so we had some issue like they couldn't go back to their homes. So basically what we did, we had some activity. So what we did, we arranged for their buses, and through this we had them they went back to their home safely. So this was the entire like basically Immortal India is based on like we recognize the efforts of all the COVID warriors, and also we take small sessions in between with some personalities, and they give their talks about it.
Excellent, excellent initiative.
Sir, this is why this is Shashi Shekhar Sinha is saying that if opponent is the state or government of India, then also legal aid will be provided by NALSA.
Yes, sir. The concept of legal aid is to represent people of the country, and also government is the highest litigant in the country. Every state central government is embroiled in so many matters. But if you have a genuine case against them, legal aid against is a creature of the state to protect you. As I said, I gave you the provision of Constitution also. 39A and Article 21. Under that, legal aid is mandated now. It's compulsory.
So friends and all the viewers, we definitely now come to an end to this amazing session by Sir. So we'll be having our next webinar, like we'll be updating you all about our next webinar sessions. So thank you so much, sir, for being with us today and giving a really informative talk. And on behalf of me, Manav Soni and Jayant, sir, we thank you all for being here today. So till then, take care, stay safe, and have a really great day ahead. Thank you so
Thank
much,
you
sir.
so much. Thank
Thank
you.
you.